Good day, gentlemen. I do appreciate you joining me. We are going to do a quick video, or hopefully a very specific video. I've got a 2003 Jeep Grand Cherokee Laredo. It is my project car that I am resurrecting from the dead, and I'm going to turn into a beach car. What I want to talk about today specifically is what happens when you remove an interior door panel to, say, fix a dragging window, which this truck actually has. Maybe a latch or a mirror or something along those lines. So I do quite a bit of this kind of work, and I've got a couple of videos. I'll probably link them in the description here. But the first thing when you roll up on a new truck to get these panels off is like, okay, how is this thing actually attached? Because the manufacturers all do it different. So I'll show you that. So if you have this Jeep and you don't hopefully tear up your, potentially 20-year-old piece of plastic, you got to kind of finesse the thing together or out of there, and then be able to put it all back together so that it looks proper. So that's my intent here, is to just show just the panel. We're not going to do any repair work, but I'll show you also what you get into once you remove the panel. It's not entirely necessary, but you can purchase interior trim tools that are magnificent at doing what they do. What they tend to do is not, they're plastic, they're semi-rigid, and they tend to not tear up plastic. I started back in the day with this little set, and certainly you can buy those online if you look for them, then eventually upgraded to this. If I recall, this set was about $45. I do use it all the time, and it's just a myriad of different configurations in order to try and get these doors apart, and virtually any kind of trim piece inside the vehicle. Again, don't have to go big. You can get something small like this, and it's a lot less expensive, maybe 12 bucks or so. All right, so this is the passenger side. The switch cluster is still inside of it. There is a screw right here behind the latch itself. There was one up here. It's plugged. And then there is a third screw that goes down into the grab handle to pull the door closed. Those are the only three pieces or piece of hardware screw-like that it had. I believe that this door panel has been off before, and somebody had exactly the same problem that I'm trying to convey in this video. So you can see all these push pins here, right? We've got them all the way around. You come over to here, you got them there, here, and then you can see down here, look, they all got busted off, right? There's nothing there, nothing there, nothing there, and then this one is broken. So I got a problem here. I'm not going to be able to attach this maybe per the manufacturer's intent without replacing those. I don't know where I'm going to be able to get those relative to my current position. So look at here, we've got, we'll look at this here in just a minute, but we've got a big power block that fits into this switch cluster, and most importantly is these plastic pieces. And man, I tell you what, I've done a lot of work with these things. I wouldn't touch any of these things, anything that looks like this, without spraying that down with some WD-40, and I would not take a tool to it. You notice how I didn't push it up out of the hole? That's not how these come off. This thing has a rod in it, and I'll show you that in a minute over in the door, but these things would be in this position. This is how they go, right? And they've got these rods that connect in this manner, right? That just needs to swing up and off the rod, then the rod pulls out of the hole. Don't take these things off. They're 20-year-old pieces of plastic, and those things are just not going to cooperate without breaking one of those. Then you're going to have yourself a real problem. There are also more of them over here in the door latch, right? I'll show you those in a minute. So that's it. Here's the two connecting rods that operate the door latch and connect to those plastic pieces. They just slip out, and then you're free from those. Then if you look back here, you can see that there's a couple of them in there. And I would not touch any of those, and I certainly would lubricate them. There's at least two. And you got to get those things nice and lubed up before you even think about messing about with them, right? Here's the power block for the switch that we talked about and showed. This is going to the mirror. All those have to be unplugged in order to remove that panel. What I have to do is I'm going to have to pull that switch cluster out of that door panel, come over here, connect it, and that way I can manipulate the window. Now, every door that I've encountered so far has this visqueen material on it, and this is just absolutely coming undone, right? This stuff is brittle, and it just cracks right off. It's just falling apart. And its purpose is for noise reduction, and it acts sort of like as a vapor barrier. That's all well and good, but what it does have on it is this black stuff here, right here, right? And it stays pliable, and it's like a glue. What I did encounter back in the day on another car was when I had come down here and taken this visqueen off. Let's say I was going to replace the interior window motor, and when you pull it apart, it'll get sort of this spider webby thing going, right? And then it releases and then it falls. And see, here's a good example of that. It's just barely touching. But I had one car, it just spider webbed all the way down here. This stuff does not come off of paint. So before you even, and this is going to be visible because the plastic panel only comes up to this edge right here, right? So if you bring this black glue and it falls down because of gravity all over this, you're going to have a mess on your hands, and that's actually going to be visible. So this truck I don't really care too much about, but I had a a nicer truck, and it just caused this huge mess. And I want to say I spent an hour and a half trying to get this crap off of here that just does not want to move. See, it's stuck hard, right? All it did was just fall onto the metal. It just does not want to let go. It's kind of like putty of some sort. So yeah, you might want to put some tape along this edge in case that happens to you, but watch it. So yeah, that's it, right? So that's pretty much what I wanted to show here. Now I'm going to put that switch cluster on here to operate this window. All right, not so bad. That was like a 5-minute job. So 5 screws holding it in, and it's a T20 Torx head that holds the switch cluster into the panel itself. Goes something like that. So now I'm going to go over there and I'm going to install the wiring, turn the key on, and see if I've got an active window. All right, power block is in. Let's try it. A little draggy. All right, good. Now I can look up inside the panel and see where are all the moving parts and pieces. Hit that with some lubricant, and hopefully we're good to go. I don't know if I mentioned it or not, but with this disconnected, that kills all windows on this truck with the exception of the driver's side. So clearly this connector is doing a lot here, more than just this window and or lock. Key is in it, so the lock is probably not working properly, but it does do something, at least when you oh, and look here, just noticed, look, we've got a couple of these. I told you that they were missing. Oh, awesome. I didn't even pay much attention, but I'll get on those and put those in the door so that so I can connect the bottom of it. Awesome. Well, gentlemen, I do appreciate you joining me today. Thanks for watching. If you wouldn't mind giving me a like and a subscribe, it helps me out a lot on YouTube. I'd really appreciate that. And hopefully if you've got a 2003 Jeep Grand Cherokee, this happens to be a Laredo, I suspect there's a lot of similarities between all these vehicles in that time range. Hopefully that made your life a little bit easier. You don't tear up your truck and by watching a short YouTube video, right? So very, very cool. I'm out. Thanks. I got a lot of work to do on this thing. What is it, what do you get when you specific video on how to remove, this will be a very specific video